What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, tonight marks the night for the highly anticipated junior welterweight showdown between undefeated, undisputed, and I'm going to continue to call him undisputed until he loses in the ring, and that's British superstar boxer Josh Taylor, who is 19 wins, no losses, no draw, 13 wins by way of knockout, 5'10" with a 69.5-inch arm reach at 32 years of age. He's going to take on the former unified lightweight world champion superstar boxer Teofimo Lopez tonight. Okay, Teofimo Lopez has moved up from lightweight, to junior welterweight after suffering the first loss in his career. Okay, which was Teofimo Lopez lost to George Kambosos Jr. Teofimo Lopez is now 18 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 13 wins by way of knockout. He is 25 years of age, 5'8" with a 68.5-inch arm reach. This is a fight Teofimo Lopez has been calling for since he defeated 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer Vasily High-Tech Lomachenko. Okay, he beat Lomachenko in unification bout, and Teofimo Lopez claimed to be undisputed, but in the record books, he's not undisputed. Okay, but he claimed to be undisputed and called for a fight against against Josh Taylor, who is the undisputed junior welterweight world champion. Now, Josh Taylor only holds the WBO, World Boxing Organization title, because he's been stripped of the WBC, IBF, and WBA because of his inactivity. He beat Jack Catterall, and he was out the ring for a year after defending his titles against Jack Catterall, who was the mandatory challenger for Josh Taylor. And since then, he was out the ring, and he didn't defend his titles, and then he got stripped and had to vacate some of the belts for his mandatories. With that said, they're finally going to fight, and they're finally going to meet tonight. And, Josh Taylor is a bigger, better version of Teofimo Lopez's last opponent. Now, Teofimo Lopez has now had 2 fights at 140 pounds, right? But his last fight was against Sandor Martin, who they was using to attempt to get prepared for Josh Taylor. Sandor Martin is a southpaw. He's a mover. He's slick. And he unofficially dropped Teofimo Lopez twice in the fight. And I thought he should have gotten a nod in for the victory in the fight, but he didn't. And now Josh Taylor is a bigger, better version of Sandor Martin with way more power. And so this is going to be an uphill battle for both guys, because when you watch the fight with Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor, the counterpunching and the power of Jack Catterall was giving Josh Taylor tons and tons of problems, okay? Tons and tons of problems. And he never really made any adjustments. Now, he stated, that being Josh Taylor, that he struggled against Jack Catterall because it wasn't easy for him to make the weight. Now, he unified and became undisputed against Jose Ramirez. And after that fight, he wanted to move up to 147. There was tons of talks of him making himself the mandatory challenger for undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terrence Bud Crawford. So there was a lot of talk of Terrence Crawford-Josh Taylor fight. Josh Taylor was focusing on Terrence Crawford, but he had to fight Jack Catterall because Jack Catterall was the mandatory challenger. And in order for Josh Taylor to fight Jose Ramirez for undisputed, he had to make an agreement that he would fight Jack Catterall. The winner would fight Jack Catterall after that fight. So he had to fight him at 140. And he stated that the weight cut was just simply too much for him. He couldn't make the weight. And after that, he stayed at the weight because many people thought Jack Catterall should have won the fight. So Teofimo Lopez last fight against Sandor Martin, people thought Sandor Martin won. And Josh Taylor last fight against Jack Catterall, many people thought Jack Catterall won the fight. Nonetheless, they both got the nod. And Josh Taylor was stating that he was waiting around just for a rematch with Jack Catterall because he wanted to prove he wasn't on the same level. But now, today's time, Josh Taylor is stating that he can comfortably make 140 pounds. Now, Teofimo Lopez, he suffered the official loss after defeating Lomachenko it's ironic because they both have tons of excuses as to why they lost. Teofimo Lopez, though, he stated that he had a torn esophagus and asthma and, a lung issue that he was fighting with, and one punch could have ruined his life. Now, we know that to be the case in the sport of boxing, but he's saying that the doctors wouldn't even advise him to fight against George Kambosos Jr. He got dropped in the fight. He lost the fight. He blamed it on Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and DAZN. He blamed it on the esophagus injury. He blamed it on his asthma. He blamed it on many different things. And the weight cut was one of the things that he simply couldn't make the weight, right? So he stated that, he couldn't make the weight anymore, 135. So he decided that he was going to move up to 140, right? But in his two fights at 140, he didn't look that spectacular, right? And so now the rubber's going to meet the road, because when it's time for them to perform at the highest of levels, when Jack Catterall is not the opponent for Josh Taylor and it's Jose Ramirez or it's Regis Prograis for Josh Taylor, he rises to the occasion. When it's not George Kambosos Jr., when it's Richard Comey for the IBF title, or when it's Vasyl Lomachenko for the unification bout, Teofimo Lopez, he rises to the occasion. Now, maybe they fight down to the level of their competition, because Teofimo Lopez, when he fought against Nakatani, many people was like, hey, Teofimo Lopez got exposed, and he stated that he didn't want to fight against any more tall fighters, right? But then he fought Richard Comey and Vasyl Lomachenko, and he blew them out the water. I thought against Lomachenko, he won the first 7 rounds. Now, he did fade, and he changed the style up 7, 8, 9, and 10, and I thought, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and I thought Lomachenko won those rounds. But he went back to what he did in the first half of the fight, and he dominated Lomachenko in the 12th round, similar to Devin Haney fight with Lomachenko. Same goes for Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez. When he fought Jose Ramirez, he blew him out the water. It was a close competitive fight with Regis Prograis, but I thought he still won the fight against Regis Prograis. I thought he still clearly won the fight against Regis Prograis. But then they have these lackluster performances against competition that's just a step lower than what, they're motivated for. So now tonight they're going to face off against each other, and this is motivation. This is for Teofimo Lopez to become a 2-division world champion, and for Josh Taylor to prove that, he belongs on the big stage, and that fight with Jack Catterall was simply a fluke, right? And so now Teofimo Lopez is from New York. This fight is at Madison Square Garden. He's born and raised here. And so this is his backyard. He typically fights around the Puerto Rican Day parade around this time. When it comes to Josh Taylor, obviously he's from the UK. He's from Ireland. He comes over, across the pond. But the southpaw style, the size, the length, the movement, and ultimately the power of Josh Taylor, to me, is going to be the difference in tonight's fight, where Teofimo Lopez at times has identity issues when it comes to his defense. When he's defensively, sometimes he wants to be in the shoulder roll, and that's okay to give your opponent different looks. High guard, shoulder roll, hands low, medium, whatever, right? But he does it in weird times where it's like there's no rhyme or reason for why he switched his style, like the Lomachenko fight, 8, 9, 10, and 11th round. It was like he was trying to sit down on his punches to get Lomachenko out of there, and he wasn't ready to go. And then it looked like he was on the verge of getting stopped. That's not the case. When you're fighting against a guy like Josh Taylor, who's very versatile, who's very tall, very rangy, a southpaw, and has power. We saw when Teofimo Lopez got overzealous, came in and got very aggressive, got over his feet, and got clipped. Now, only one knockdown count, but it was the same punch, the same style, the same corner. And I think that Josh Taylor will ultimately capitalize on those mistakes that Teofimo Lopez makes. But nonetheless, Josh Taylor, even in the Jose Ramirez fight, he made a ton of mistakes where Jose Ramirez just wasn't athletic enough, just wasn't quick enough to make Josh Taylor pay. Teofimo Lopez is quick enough, he's athletic enough, and he has just as much power, if not more power, than Jose Ramirez, and he can make Josh Taylor pay. So I think that, this is definitely a 50-50 fight. It's a pick'em fight. But I believe that Josh Taylor ultimately is going to win a split decision victory over Teofimo Lopez. I think he's going to drop Teofimo Lopez at some point in time in this fight. I think it's going to look a lot like when Teofimo Lopez fought George Kambosos. I think Teofimo Lopez is going to hurt Josh Taylor. I think he's going to clip him a few times because Josh Taylor can be hurt. He can be had, right? And I think that Teofimo Lopez will have him, will clip him. But I think ultimately Josh Taylor will win a split decision victory over Teofimo Lopez and drop him in around the 4th round. Okay, so let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.